We're gonna stay at the Connor, but we changed our mind.
Oh.
That would have been cool.
There's 6 of us and you couldn't rock, paper, scissors for who's going to share a bed.
Oh. So if you look to your right, you'll see the surgeon's house. We had some of the best surgeons in the country with some of the most advanced equipment here. But the surgeons were doing a lot of morally wrong things to the PTSD patients and those in the insane asylum. So they were doing a lot of testing on them. So when Andrea bought this place, it was full of demonic activity. But she made it very peaceful. She spent a lot of time and money, so it's actually the most peaceful place to stay now. But I think because of what they were doing to the people, these demons attached themselves to them. But as I said, it's very peaceful now. If you look to your right, over here you'll see our 3rd hospital. So the south wing did collapse with some of the blasting that took place here in the mine. So when that happened, they built the 4th hospital, which is now the Jerome Grand Hotel. They kept the crematory down below here, and then they made the above their clubhouse. So this place has a ton of activity. It's been featured on Ghost Adventures. In the episode, they're talking to the carpenter in there, and the door next to him actually slammed. So it used to be apartments, well, it currently is now as well. But there was a family that lived in here, and their daughter used to tell them she had an imaginary friend. And at first, they were okay with it, until they realized that their daughter might be talking to some other type of entity. She came to them and said she didn't want to be friends with her anymore because she was telling her to jump off of the balcony so that they could be together forever.
Oh.
So they were still kind of questioning at that point until a little while later they were having a yard sale, and the neighbor ended up purchasing a stuffed animal for the little girl ghost that lived in his unit.
Oh.
So a lot of people happen to see miners here too, the spirits of the miners. Especially during the Spanish flu and any accidents they had, they'll see them often with their legs amputated and things like that. So. Now if you're looking for some activity, this would be the place to stay. The Jerome Grand Hotel has had over 9,000 deaths. This is also where the insane asylum was.
Were those 9,000 mostly miners?
A little bit of everything. Now with the TB outbreak and other things like that, there's also children and several other people that also passed here. But people are also losing their minds here quite a bit. I'm going to get into a lot of the details when we get to the 1st hospital. I'll unload a lot of the history for you so you can understand the whole beginning of the mine in Jerome and down to the very end. But as I said, a lot of people did lose their minds. So this is the hospital on the 3rd floor where they had the insane asylum. So the surgeon's room is now room 32. There's been a ton of people that have checked in here and they leave within a matter of hours. I've had some on my tour actually. I've also had others on my tour that said they were there for days and never felt, seen, or heard a thing. But there has been people who've also committed suicide here. So there was a gentleman in room 32 who jumped off the balcony. Another man stayed in that room when he shot himself in the head. Another man hung himself down in the basement. So there's definitely a lot of depression. I think these people end up feeling what these spirits felt before they passed. And it almost somewhat consumes them, I guess. There was also another gentleman who was murdered and they stuck him under the elevator shaft. So when people see him, they see him headless or they see just his head and it scares them. Although I don't think he's trying to be scary, I think he's just trying to communicate in the way he knows how.
Probably freaking you out, right?
Well, I think a lot of people get scared of those spirits, but again, I think that they're just communicating, you know, what happened to them. But this too has been featured on Ghost Adventures and several other paranormal investigation shows, and a lot of people consider this to be the most haunted in America.
I wonder how sold out room 32 is in advance.
Well, some people don't want it. I've had people on my tour, they're like, oh no, they gave it to us. And the other group on the tour was like, yeah, we requested not to have that room. And they're like, why? And I hadn't given the history yet, and I just started laughing. I was like, because... But it just depends. Like I said, some people feel it and some people don't. How are you guys doing with the air? Do you want me to turn the air on?
Nope.
No.
Good.
Okay. Like, no, it's cold outside.
Yeah, it's chilly enough out there.
I've been in the rain all day.
I'm just always hot. Okay.
So much meat on it.
So we are heading down to the old high school. It was built in 1906, but during the Spanish flu of 1918, they closed it down for 2 years and they utilized it as a hospice. So any patient they felt was going to die, they sent them there to do so. And then they reopened it as a high school. They're like, nothing to see here, kids. Also, in the 1980s and 1990s, there was some satanic worshiping taking place down in the boiler room. So from time to time, people have gotten some strange growls and stuff like that. But I'm not taking it down there, so don't worry.
Bless you.
You got a new beat, Bryce?
Must have been my bionic knee. I'm from the future, you know.
You have your flashlight by it, or are you making friends already?
No, it's on my knee.
Cell phone close.
Probably. Yep. Cell phones. Maybe I should shut it off.
Okay, so if you take a look to your left here, you'll see the Connor Hotel. It says it was built in 1898, but that's incorrect. It was actually built in 1897. It originally had 26 rooms to 1 common bathroom.
We were talking about that earlier.
Yeah, that was considered a luxury of its day though. So unfortunately, after David Connor built it, it burnt down. So he got his insurance and he rebuilt it. But unfortunately, it burnt down again. But Mr. Connor was an I-can-do man, so he built it a 3rd time. The 3rd time he built it, he used brick, so they say he saved half the town from burning down. But because of how many people lost their lives when it burnt down over and over, a lot of people get activity in room 1. They say they hear women laughing. In room 2, they say there are objects moving there. In room 4, they say they see and hear a ghost dog. So I actually had a couple on my tour that said they heard a dog barking in the bathroom when they went and looked and there was no dog there. Which is pretty cool because you don't normally hear about animal spirits, you know? So I've stayed there a handful of times as well. I never got anything except for in room 10. The armoire door opened. I thought it was my son, but I could see the fear in his eyes and he said he was going to his uncle's. Later my phone was hitting off the toilet. But to me, I think they're just saying, hey. But anytime I stay there after that, nothing ever happened. So if you take a look to your right, you'll see the smelter that was used in the mine. The smelter was used to separate precious metals such as copper, gold, and silver from its impurities. What's left is called slag. At one point in time, the miners went on strike and they were looking for health benefits, but Mr. Clark was a real nice man. He was like, no, I'm not going to give you that. I'm giving you death benefits. So if they didn't have the financial means to have their loved one buried in the cemetery, he was like, hey, you can have them thrown in the smelter for a real affordable price. So, yes, he was a horrible, horrible man. So originally they were taking that slag and they were throwing it over the hill until they realized that it makes good aggregate for concrete. So that is the second reason that they say the streets of Jerome are paved in blood, because quite literally there are bodies throughout the street. It's that black shiny rock you see. It's in the concrete, the walls, the streets, everywhere. The first reason I'll give you later.
That's why
It's just supposed to fog up
crap.
here today.
I know, I'm trying not to get everybody cold, especially you because you're up here.
Oh, I'm pregnant, so I'm always wearing.
Oh,
I got extra blood volume, so you can chill me. We're good. I won't bother you. Yes, the wonders of being pregnant, that extra 20% blood volume. freaking hot. Last time I had a winter baby, I used to stand sliding door wide open and like, and the rest of my family was like, shut the door, it's January.
So where do you live?
North Dakota.
Okay.
It's like 50 below, 30 below.
Yeah.
Usually in the month of January. It's a good time.
I'd like to go there. But it's pretty cute.
It's pretty flat.
Really?
It's very flat. Unless you're in Western North Dakota. Then you'll see like hills and like buttes and whatnot. Mini mountains, but otherwise the rest of the state is flat.
Okay.
And you get a couple.
Rows and rows and rows of corn and farm and wheat and all that.
I have enjoyed summer.
Is the corn gonna be tall by 4th of July? Nope, not this year.
That's what you measure, right?
Yep.
That's kind of cool.
Corn's good if it's knee high by 4th of July. Corn's gonna be good.
Interesting to know.
There's your fun fact for the day.
I like that stuff. I'm always trying to stuff like that. People are like, okay, like, I won't use this information, but it's still cool.
Let's use this.
She was done with a cigarette. She's tried to quit so many times. It's still painful for her. They can see she does have it now. Oh, she's doing good. It's just that they're treating it, and she's doing well with it. She's not lost any lungs capacity. She yells at me just like she did when I was 10 years old sometimes. So,
Fortunately, I was sick.
yeah.
All right, so I just have one small request. About a month ago, a little gentleman on the tour came running up to me and he was like, there's this really angry man. And I was like, an alive man? Because I thought he was talking about a ghost. He's like, yes, a human. So this man came running up to me. Apparently the little gentleman touched a flag on his door and it really upset him. He was asking me if I had beef and all this stuff. I was like, sir, I'm on a tour, otherwise I would. But anyway, yeah, I don't know if he was in the middle of his masterpiece because the high school is now being utilized for small businesses and art studios, so I just try to be respectful and not do any disturbance type of thing. So that's it. Let's go make some friends. Watch out. Oh, from time to time. Not most of them, but from time to time. So some people, I guess, could be small businesses making their products, stuff like that.
There's big steps up.
Yeah.